Hey everyone, this is our final video of the year. In this video, I'm going to talk about your final with you, and I'm trying to be concise, as helpful as much as possible. You can look at this final during your final. The only thing you cannot do is help each other, and I won't be answering questions except a general question, but I will not answer a question about your project. You're on your own with your project. I'm going to talk through the format with you, and I have a lot of things to show you here about the final, so let me get started. First of all, you can't help each other. You have to do this by yourself. So even the students here in the classroom cannot be helping each other. You cannot draw for each other, paint for each other. You cannot give each other advice. You're on your own. This is a final, just like a test would be. This is talking about the video right now. You work independently. You can ask me before you start if you have questions. Go ahead and make yourself familiar. This isn't really, with the sheets, it's really not that long, but it's really to help make very clear what I want you to do. It says on this information that I'm suggesting that you possibly refer to this worksheet on well, you should, on the basic color theory, because we're going to use this color system on your final. It also says on the worksheets that you can refer to using these watercolor pages when we practice the different techniques. You might have this around with you, just so to remind you how to go about doing watercolor paintings if you're kind of forgetting, or pull out any of your paintings that you're happy with. So they're sitting there in front of you. Another thing that might be handy to have, so it's kind of like an open book final. You might want your aerial perspective worksheet in front of you just to remind you about those things about natural perspective or natural depth. So you can have some things with you during the final. It's worth 10% of your grade, but you haven't been deducted at 10% or anything, so that 10% won't affect your grade until you take the final. So it often leaves your grade about the same, within 1 or 2 percentage points. Some things that we're referring to here, remember here again I said, really not referring to figure drawing or portrait drawing, but we are using color theory, we are using our painting techniques, and some of our perspective techniques. The final is in 2 separate parts. So we have the first part of the final, which is worth 100 points, and then there's a second part of the final also worth 100 points. So the first part of the final has to be on this large watercolor paper. In fact, you have to turn it into me when you take a photo of it. I need to see a ruler sitting next to it. It was very discouraging when I found out that people have been doing some of their work on these small pieces of paper. Yeah, that's cheating. If I think it's a big piece of paper and you do it on a small piece of paper, that's cheating. So just to make this fair for everyone, I'm going to require this ruler here. If this ruler is not showing in your photograph, then it's going to be a loss of points. These papers are available here in the classroom. You should have gotten one home. If for some reason, let's say the students who are overseas, you have a piece of paper, it's a slightly different size, just email me what size is it, and I'll let you know if that's just fine or not. So go ahead and let me know if it's not this exact dimensions, this exact piece of paper. I have plenty of them here at school to get to you. So the first part of your final, you're going to have 3 choices for your subject matter. And I have these 3 photographs. They're in your worksheet packet, and they're also under downloads. So they're all landscapes, but they're slightly different. This one shows a lighthouse on a cliff. This one is a watering can with some flowers and so on. And this one shows a river and some mountains. You're going to choose any one of these 3 photographs. You can only choose one of these. So you can't just choose some other thing. It has to be one of these 3. Like I said, I put them under downloads for you. You can take a look. If you're here in the classroom, I have some extra copies, but you should have them in your packet, like I said. So choose one of these. Let's say this is your choice. Then what you're going to do for the first part of your final is just the drawing. So when you do your drawing, as you know, you probably just start off with some loose areas. getting it kind of planned. So this is me starting off a drawing very loosely. Here's our rocks and some other rocks. So here's my basic things in about the right location. Then I'm going to go back carefully in and start drawing things very specifically where they actually are. So they moved around a little bit from my first sketch. So your first part of the final is when you actually draw these in. I want to be very specific. I do not want shading at all. I don't need to see stumbling for all these rocks. I don't need to see which part of the watering can is dark or light. I just need the outline of the watering can. I just need the outline of the lighthouse. I don't need to see this is darker, this is lighter. I don't need texture here. Just kind of show me where the trees are, show me where the rocks are. Just a nice outline drawing so that you're ready to paint that shows me realistically what the shapes are like. I want you to take time just so the painting goes well, but no shading, no high-end details. Remember, you can usually draw better than you can paint, so don't over-detail this assignment. Just get it to where you need it to be. So here I've described this. It says to photograph it with the ruler and then send it to me. That's your first part of the final. Now the second part of the final, you're going to do a painting. I have a lot of information here for you. Your painting has some more requirements. Remember, you're going to read all this through. So your painting is going to be, here's a sample of one. I better not see any paintings looking exactly like this. This one is done from the, can I get any smaller? Oops. This is done from the watering can sample. This is a watercolor. Some of the samples are not going to be in watercolor. They're going to be in tempera paint. So I just wanted you to see one that's in watercolors. Anyway, so the second point is start to finish a complete watercolor painting. Also, you have to use a certain set of colors. Your set of colors is called analogous complementary colors. Specifically, it can't be anything else. It has to be these. Analogous complementary colors are 3 colors right next to each other on the color wheel. So wherever you are in the color wheel, these 3 colors, and then one opposite, which these will give you harmony, this will give you contrast. You can mix across, mix them all you want, just those 3 and one opposite, whatever you choose, any 3 and one opposite. So you can mix across, you can use black. You can't really use white because we don't use white in watercolors, right? So, but it gives you a nice range, a nice unity, and then one color to like make it pop, make it stand out. This is an excellent watercolor color theory system. It's used very often. People don't even know necessarily they're looking at it, but it's very exciting and dynamic to look at. Even a subtle painting like the one you're looking at right now. So you're gonna find the sheet. If you don't still have it, it's under downloads as well. It's called the Basic Color Theory Worksheet. And then find this down here. I even want you to put in the 3 colors that you chose that are here side by side and the one opposite. So let's say for my opposite, I chose a color like yellow, green, and then I have violet, red, violet, and red. Can I use, yellow and green because I have yellow, green? No, you can't. You only have the color yellow, green mixed together. So when you have these combination colors, you only get that. So this person gets violet, red, and red, violet. So you have to stick to those specific colors. If you have a specific green, don't just get any green from your palette. You only get that green, for instance. So be really careful about adding too many colors to this painting while you're working on it. I have some general instructions for you or suggestions. Generally work back to front. In this one, you see the background was probably painted first. Large areas a second, and then working on detailed areas last, brush line and then center. Remember about aerial perspective when you're working on the painting to try and show these as much as you can to have more depth. This talks here about the analogous complementary color system. And then, like I just said, you can't divide up the colors unless it's in there. For instance, green and blue with blue, green in the middle. Yeah, you can use blue, green separately because they're part of your colors. But let's say you had blue, violet, red, violet, and violet. Can I also use blue? No. Can I also use red? No. You can only use red, violet, blue, violet, and violet. So just the 3 colors you chose and the 1 color that's opposite. Just be really careful about that. When you turn it in, you're going to paint this in. Show that to me in the corner of your painting or right off the side in the photograph. That's part of your grade. I need to know when you tell me exactly which colors that you chose for your painting. So it's really, really specific part of your assignment, and it says correct use of analogous complementary color system. So your points are also based on that. You'll lose points if you just color it any old color that you want to. Other things that you should know about this, I just wanted to show you some samples of some colors that people have used before. Don't forget this painting, we'll be working on it in class during the last week of school. So that's 2 80-minute class periods. Probably the first one, maybe you'll get the drawing done, and the second one, maybe the painting done. If you want, you can continue to work at home. I just wanted to tell you that it'd be nice if it's done that week, but you have until Tuesday the 25th to hand it in to me. I put in the grade book that it's due slightly before that, but here, this is the very latest at midnight. There's no grace period after that, so I need it then. And then also, don't forget you're turning in your art supplies. So, keep in mind, you've got some responsibilities here at the end of the year. Let me just show you some samples, and I wanted to show you how they use the color systems. So this one, I was just looking at it. Which colors did they choose? Well, if you look at that, first of all, it just looks like some simple colors that look pretty together. But if you start looking at this, I'm seeing some yellow-green here. I'm seeing some violet here. I'm seeing some yellow-orange. So you can see they used yellow-orange, yellow-green, and the opposite of violet. And the violet really makes it work out. This person was kind of sophisticated in their painting use and did a lot of neutrals. You can mix the colors together. You can mix across. Go light on your black, but you can use some black as well. Okay, let's look at another sample. These are, this one's also in watercolor, but they use maybe, it's a little bit heavy. You don't want your watercolor so heavy that you can't see through it, but this is also a watercolor painting. So this isn't one of the subjects you get to choose from. This is a different one. Anyway, so what colors did they see here? We see some greens, yellows, violets again. Wait, what's this? So let's look this up. Yellow, orange again. An opposite over here. Wait a minute. Blue, violet? Because we should have violet and then yellow, orange, yellow, and yellow, green. So they've kind of gone a little bit orange. They've gone a little bit more of normal green. So this person didn't stay true to the color system as well. So it's not as successful, a lot of these normal greens. So they should have stuck to the yellow green. They should have stuck to not using full-on orange that you see here and there. So not an attempt at using the colors well, but not super good example. Okay, here's another one. Let's take a look at what this person did. Actually, this is the same subject matter. They just did a close-up. I'm going to ask you not to do close-ups, but it's kind of a cool painting when you first look at it, and then we start looking at the colors they use. We see some yellow again. We definitely see yellow-green. We see, let's see, we do see violet. We see yellow-orange, but look, they went way over here. Orange, red, all the way to yellow-green. They used half their colors here, and then just the one opposite violet. So actually, this is not a good use of color, not a correct use of color, so they would have lost points. Let's take a look at another one. This is actually the same subject. You see how they all look so different? Everyone has a different approach. The same, we just, like I said, we're not doing that one this year. So what do we have here? We have some blue, we have some green, and then this is kind of a red-orange. So wait. Yeah, this is correct. Blue, green. There's not a ton of blue-green, but blue, green, and then red-orange. This is a really nice range of color because you get the blue for the sky and the green for the plants and stuff, and the red-orange for contrast. And then they made a lot of neutrals. I can tell there's some black mixed in with the colors. So this is a correct use of color, and this particular combination is used fairly often if you want it to look normal. These paintings look fabulous if you want to just be crazy and add some really unusual colors like orange, yellow, orange, blue, violet, or just go for it with unusual colors. But if you want normal colors, this combination right here is really nice. So this is a great use of color, and they did a nice job. Let's look at another one. So, same subject again, looks totally different. This is done by another student. And so what kind of colors do we have here? We have kind of a red-orange. Here we go again. Red-orange, green, very much plain green. It's not yellowy looking or anything. And then blue. So blue is down into the mountains too. So actually the same colors as this last one. They didn't make as any neutrals, but it looks pretty in its own way. So this is also tempera paint, by the way. So a lot of these, like I said, are not watercolors. Anyway, they actually did a nice use of color as well. Not the same, but they used it well. Okay, here's another sample. It's fun to see the different styles that we're seeing. So here we go, the same subject matter again. What kind of color do we see here? We definitely see blue. We definitely see normal green. We see some kind of blue-green, that's okay. And then our opposite's red-orange. That is not red-orange, that's full-on red. So they did not use the colors correctly, so they would have lost points. It's supposed to be red-orange up here. So will you carefully pay attention to the colors you're supposed to use? Watch the color system. Enjoy the painting. Like I said, in the format, there's some information there to make the final a little easier for you. So I actually am helping you, and you can have some reference things with you. You definitely have your reference photo, whichever one you want to use. So any of these things can be in front of you while you're working on the final. At home I won't know if they are or they're not, so of course they can be here in the classroom as well. So that's what's up with your final. I hope this introduction's okay and helpful. And I hope you do a really good job. Don't forget to take a photo of your drawing before you add paint, because that's half your grade right there. It just needs to be an accurate drawing with no shading, no details. No textures, no shading, that type of stuff. Hope this was a good introduction. Thank you.